Hello, everyone. You're about to start watching Self Care Infinity. For more information on Self Care Infinity and the resources, go to my official Instagram page, official Ray Galvan. These are the final two episodes of the series, and I'm very fortunate for you guys to be able to see them. Thank you. Hi, everyone. This is our fourth episode of Self Care Infinity, and I'm here with Jackie. Say hi, Jackie.
Hi,
And
Jackie.
and we're gonna be talking about obviously self-care. So let's get the ball rolling, as I keep saying, for this conversation. So the first question I have is, what does self-care mean to you?
I think more than anything, self-care, for me at least, kind of means just like maintaining a healthy relationship with myself. And I think like self-care isn't something that I really prioritized, like honestly, probably until like a year ago, like when I started college, I think I wasn't really like something that was on my mind a lot and like something that I really prioritized. But I think more than anything, it just means like having a healthy relationship with myself and like making sure that I'm like taking care of myself and that I'm happy with myself because that's really important. Like if you want to be like productive, then like you have to be like okay with yourself. I think that's like a big priority.
Yeah, prioritizing yourself, that's definitely important for self-care. That's the main focus. That's the whole point of self-care, making sure you put yourself first. And that's a lot of the times that's hard for people because they don't want to be considered selfish, or they don't want to they have they believe they're not worth the time, which
Mhm.
is important. Like you are worth the time, and your feelings and just your value is important, I think. Um,
Sure.
yeah. So, what are things that you do for self care?
So something I do personally, or that I've been like trying to do more of, like I started it a while ago, but I wasn't the best at keeping up with it, is journaling. And I know it sounds kind of cheesy sometimes, like, oh, it's like a diary, like, oh, your
Yeah.
diary. I know sometimes there's like people are like weird about it, but I should have brought it. I have a journal that I have like just like specifically like, for writing down like my thoughts and stuff.
Yeah.
I think like a big misconception about journaling is like you have to like write in it every day and it's like super cheesy, like write about your feelings, but it can be like anything you want and like you don't have to do it every day. Like honestly, like the only times I journal is like when when there's like a lot on my mind or like something good happened or like something bad happened. I just need to like get my thoughts down.
Mm-hmm.
That's personally how I use it, but you can use it like very like many different ways. Like I've done like gratitude exercises where like I looked up on YouTube like, oh, gratitude like exercises, and they kind of like guide you through like, oh, like write five things or like five people you're grateful for, five things you're grateful for, like five animals you're grateful for, stuff like that. You can do like stuff like that. But yeah, I feel like there's like a big misconception about journaling, but I think like that's something I've done that's really helped me. I don't know if you've ever journaled.
Um, I tried. I think for me, I think the thing is with journaling, in my opinion, you have to be consistent with it,
Mhm.
and I lack consistency with it. Like I'll do it, I'll be motivated to do it the first day, but then the days after, I'm like, I don't want, like, I have thoughts, but I don't want to write it down.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like that was me in the beginning too. Like I would go like months without like writing anything and it's just like, oh sure, like I'll write it again. But I'm definitely trying to get back like into it. But like you said, it's kind of like annoying. Like sometimes like having to like write it down. But also like I've heard of this let me see. There's like I forgot the names, but there's like apps you can get also that to like help you journal. Because sometimes it's like everyone's like on their phones and like everything's like
Yeah.
digital now, so like that could be helpful and like that still helps you like get your thoughts down and like there's also this is what it's called. It's one called DeLeon. I don't know if you've heard of it, but like you can like help. I've never used it personally, but I've heard good things about it. It can like help you like track your mood every day, and it's like easier because you just like, oh, click
Oh,
this is how I feel. Like
yeah.
because like everything's digital now, so I feel like people would be like more likely to do it if they just have it on their phone, like an app, rather
Hmm.
than like a physical journal where you write, because like people don't really want to write sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something you can always try too.
Yeah. Um, I I don't know if you read the. I don't know if you read. Do you read books or no?
Not really.
No. I well, I read. I in the summer I read Michelle Obama's book, Becoming, and she talked a lot about journaling and how she used that to stay like stable and sane, especially when she was in the White House. So
Mhm.
then she released on Amazon or wherever it's available a journal that was similar kind of to the one she had, and it would have like little activities. Like it's kind of like what you're saying, like when you looked up on YouTube, like, oh, gratitude exercises. It was kind of like that. She has prompts in it where it's like, what's your story, or what are three quotes that you feel inspired by, and you would date it, and like you would do one per day. And I bought that because I was like, well, I'm a creative writing major and I like to write, which is kind of ironic with my comment earlier. But I got it and I filled it out like the first 2 days, but then afterwards, like I totally forgot about it. And I still have it at my desk, and I want to get back into that because that's
Mhm.
journaling is definitely a helpful thing to do for yourself, because like you said, you get to write down your thoughts and your feelings, and you get to there's different ways of writing, like what you were saying, like gratitude exercises and like other things. I think journaling is a fantastic coping mechanism, especially. So I think that's a good tip. Do you have any other tips?
Let's see. I think just like I feel like a lot of people have been saying this, but like since we're in a pandemic and stuff, like you're like most people are just like stuck at home. But I feel like just like taking up like new hobbies or like trying new things. I know like a lot of people have said that, but I feel like it really helps like keep you entertained. Like at the beginning, like of like when like everything with the pandemic was starting, I like got a bunch of plants and like take care of those now. Like that
Oh
takes up
yeah.
time. Um, yeah, just stuff like that. I think also maybe like changing up your room or like wherever you're like living, because I feel like everyone's been stuck like inside, like everyone's kind of like tired of
Yeah.
like the space they're in and the environment. So I don't know, maybe paint the walls or something. My family's gonna paint our walls like this weekend.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
like that can be helpful. Just like change it up a little bit. Or even if you don't have to like paint, but like um if you just like change up like your layout or something, I feel like that could be helpful just to change things up a bit since you've kind of been like stuck in the same place for a while. I feel like changing it up can be kind of helpful sometimes too.
Yeah. I
Hmm.
think like basically kind of being like productive and doing some new things that you never thought of doing before.
Yeah.
I had a friend who during the pandemic, she it was during the summer when we were on vacation. She changed up her entire room and like moved things out. She got like
Hmm.
different color for paint, and like she was remodeling basically, and like it took some time, but she was doing it like, and she felt good about it.
Hmm.
um I think that's true. Like a lot of people feel stuck in their homes right now and earlier during the pandemic. um which brings me to another question I had. When the pandemic first hit, what were your feelings like, your mental health, like what was it like? Because I know for me personally, I felt a lot of fear. I felt a lot of the negative feelings. I felt like paranoid, especially around that time. Like I'll admit, like I got sick, but like with the flu. But when they were beginning to release the symptoms of corona, I was paranoid and being like, oh shit, like I think I have it. But it
Hmm.
ended up just being a flu, thankfully. But
Yeah.
there was that paranoia and I was scared, and I think a lot of people felt that way and they felt sad and angry. Like, how did you feel?
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely like really hectic during that time because I was away for college and it was already finals week. Like everything happened during my finals week, which
Yeah.
is already stressful. But then like on top of it, like we didn't know like what like are we going home? Are we like canceling stuff? So it was really hectic, like a lot of like back and forth, like calling my mom, like she's like, oh my gosh, are you coming home? I'm just like, I don't know, like I still have finals to take.
Yeah.
So that was like really stressful, like trying to study and then like all of a sudden on my phone I get an alert saying like our county's in a state of emergency or like it was a lot. But definitely like I think just because like I was in a small town, like I wasn't here in LA, like people like we didn't have like any cases or anything, or like it wasn't like a big deal then, like until like they announced we were like in a state of emergency and like um all that stuff. So I think like at first I was kind of like skeptical, like I don't think like this is a big deal, like I don't understand like what's going on. But then like once like the news started coming out and stuff, there's definitely like feelings of being paranoid. Like if my roommate would bring someone over, I'm like, hey, can we just like not right now? Or
Yeah.
it was like cleaning everything, like I had like communal bathrooms, and it was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to touch
Oh
anything.
my god.
Yeah, so it was like a lot. It was like definitely like really scary, like once it kind of like hit me that like it was real. And then like my mom would text me like, when everyone was like buying out all this stuff like in the store, she would like text me pictures like, oh my gosh, like there's nothing in the store. And like I was like what, like how is there nothing in the store? Like that's when it kind of like started hitting me. And then like that's when I definitely like started feeling like more scared. And then like people where I was, then they started like kind of panicking, and then they started buying out stuff like on this like in the stores, like our campus markets like didn't have any stuff anymore. And it was just like, oh my gosh, like that was like super scary. But yeah, definitely just like really stressful, feeling paranoid for sure. And yeah, it was a lot.
It was a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Like, damn. Yeah, I think the mass panic buying, I think that's what it was called, was pretty scary and very annoying.
For sure.
Especially I would get texts from friends being like, I'm so annoyed because I actually need toilet paper and these people are out buying them out, you know? Um, I think like from like I don't know if about you, but like when that was happening, I was trying my best not to be anxious and trying not my to be, sad. Um, so what I would do is I began to take up like new hobbies, like you said earlier, take new hobbies. And what I did was I started doing puzzles, which I didn't think I would do because I'm an impatient person. So I was just like I can't imagine myself sitting down just to take the time to do this. So
Mhm.
then like I did those puzzles and I was just like, oh, this is pretty productive. So I was doing that. I was on TikTok a lot. It was just me being on TikTok, with my family. We were trying to imitate the dances. Um, I think the one that was popular around that time was the Blinding Lights one by The Weeknd. So we were trying to imitate that. It was a hard time, but we tried our best
Mhm.
to, cope with it. And, you know, I mean, I don't know how you coped with it, especially when you were at school. Like, did you find any way to cope with it, or was it until you went home?
Um, I think like while I was in school, not really, because it was only like a week of like figuring out like whether I was moving or not. And like literally within that week, like my last final got canceled, so I like left like the next day because I just like wanted to be home already.
Yeah.
But then like I think like once I was home, that's when it like kind of hit me like, oh my gosh, like this is real. Like I actually like had to move out. Um, so I think like I definitely didn't like really have to start learning how to cope with it until like once I was home. And then it's just like, oh well, like I'm gonna be stuck here now.
Yeah.
um but yeah, it was definitely like really like stressful for a lot of people. Like a lot of people were super stressed about it all.
Yeah, I agree. Um, I'll go back to the college questions because I did have another question about school, but I think I wanted to talk about this as well just because it came up in my mind because we during this has been such a difficult year, not just because of the pandemic, but because of George Floyd and Black Lives Matter, and right now what's going on with Breonna Taylor. um you and me, we talk about this stuff a lot. We share links and stuff, ways to help. For you, like, I talked about this with our friend Evelyn um in the previous episode, but basically, like, how do you know how do you find the balance to consume the media, the news, because it's a lot of heavy stuff every day now, especially now. How do you find the balance to, I need to know what's going on, I need to be informed, but I also need to not be drained and take care of myself mentally? Do you
Yeah.
find that balance, or you're still struggling with it?
Yeah, I think like definitely in the beginning it was really frustrating because like I would have classes, but then and like other like responsibilities too, but then like I would want to be like reading or like like staying updated on what's going on. And it was like really hard to just like not, it's really hard to just like be able to put my phone down and not look at that stuff, because it was everywhere. It was on social media, like it was on the news, it was like articles, like it was everywhere. And it still is, but like I think like more in the beginning, a lot. So it was definitely like hard, because I always wanted to like be signing petitions and like doing my part and like reading and
Oh,
doing everything. So it's definitely hard to find a balance at first. And I think like yeah, um like you have good intentions when you want to be doing that, but at the same time like it can like emotionally drain you at some point. And I think that's what happened with a lot of people. Like a lot of people were super invested, and then they just kind of like got like kind of drained and like tired of it, which is understandable. um but yeah, I think now, um I think like I just kind of have to like force myself to like put my phone down and like focus, like okay, well now I need to work on my class, and then I can like go and read about it later. Or like I'll save, like instead of like if I see something like I want to read or something that I want to sign or anything, like I'll save it for later, like bookmark it or something, and then I'll just come back to it later instead of doing it right then and there. Because and it can be hard, like if you see something pop up and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to like go do this. So I think I've gotten better at just like balancing it. But um yeah, I think people just sometimes need to realize like it's okay to not be like involved in all that activism like 24/7, like because at the same time you take care of yourself and your life. So as long as you're like finding that balance, I know it's kind of hard, but I think that is important, finding that balance.
yeah, I agree. Like what you were, especially towards the end of what you were saying about the activism, because it's really hard. I know, like for me, like when not that the Black Lives Matter started, but like there was this resurgence because of George Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
I was heavily invested in it because I did feel, how serious it was. I did feel like I wanted to do my part, like, you know, and I was like on social media, I would post really long stories about it. And like at the end of the day, I would look at them and be like, wow, this is so much. Like, um, I would feel proud, but then at the end of it, I would be like, oh my God, like I'm so angry. I'm so like sad. Like I had all these negative feelings that were building up. And like anytime like I would see a friend's story that was not related to it, I'd be like, why are you not posting? Like, why are you like, if you are posting, why are you get what I mean? Like it felt draining. I was just angry. So then I took a break from that.
Yeah.
And and I think it was important for me, especially to realize just because you don't post about it doesn't mean that you didn't do anything. Because I've
Yeah.
been doing stuff like to help, but I don't post about it. And I know
Yeah.
several people do that too.
Yeah, it's
Um,
definitely hard. Like I feel like a lot of people feel guilty like if you're not, like I know I felt guilty for a little bit, like if I wasn't posting or if I wasn't like doing stuff. So it's kind of hard to like kind of step away. But kind of like what you said, I think like more recently I've kind of been more focused on like still like doing stuff and like doing my part, but not like just like posting about it all the time. Because I think that was also kind of draining, because then they're always like I don't know about you, but I always have people like swipe up and like try and like debate me on it, and then like it's like I want to like debate them on it too, but then it
yeah.
gets draining at some point. So I think like more recently, and especially because I have like school started again and everything, I think I've kind of been like how you said, like doing stuff, but like more like myself, like not so like publicly.
Yeah, exactly. Like yesterday, I when they announced the charges for, well, not she didn't get charges. They didn't get charges
Yeah.
basically for Breonna Taylor.
Hmm.
I just in the night I wanted just to watch CNN to see like what was going on with the protests, what people were saying, and I usually would stick to that like the whole night through because I wanted to be informed because I was just so passionate about it and like how I felt. But after a while, I was just like, I'm going down this familiar road where I'm just gonna be so invested that I'm gonna wake up really angry and I'm gonna wake up really sad and like
Yeah.
there is a hopelessness feeling that comes from it. There
Hmm.
is also a passion feeling that you're gonna get things done. But it's always important to take that balance and take that time for yourself as well. It's okay to take time off. Like I took a time off from social media just because like mostly Instagram because of I felt really drained from that. And I think that's another tip, like the idea of taking time off social media in general. Like I don't know if you've done that before, but I taken time off social media before and it does help a lot.
Yeah, definitely. I think that, and it's kind of hard to like take that initiative to like take that break. Like even like sometimes you have to like delete the app completely and like because it's kind of hard if you just have it there on your phone to like go on it. But yeah, I think like once you take that initiative to like take that break, then that can be very beneficial.
For sure, for sure.
Mhm.
Okay, so were those all the tips you had? Just journaling and trying new things?
Um, yeah, and or I guess just like trying to stay connected with friends. I know it's like kind of hard, but like you can always like set up a Zoom call and like watch movies together, or or even just like connecting with the people you're living with, whether it's like your family or your roommates. Like I feel like a lot of people, like even though like yes you're stuck at home with them, but you're not really like spending like meaningful time together, like kind of like what you said, how you would like spend time with your family, like trying to do the dances and stuff. I think like that's great. But I think in a lot of places or like households, like some people were like, yeah, you're quarantined together or like you're staying together, but you're not. Everyone's just kind of like doing their own thing.
Yeah.
I think like connecting with the people that you're living with, like roommates, family, like whoever you're with. I think like doing stuff like that is helpful too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are some good tips. Thanks, Jackie. So now I'm gonna do my segment. It's called Infinite Tips. Just a nod to the show title, whatever. So I have two people that I'm gonna mention. The first person is Vianney Quiroja. I don't know how to say her last name, but it starts with a Q. She sent me her tip, and her tip was many people say it's important to take time for yourself. However, I find that also making time to be with the special people in your life can really make a difference. To me, self care means having a good time and being reminded of all the people who care for you. I think that's important, like, because that ties in with what you said towards the end. Just making time for spend time with your family or just whoever you're quarantined with. I
Yeah.
think when people think of self care, they just think of themselves, like
Hmm.
rightfully so, but
Yeah.
also it's important to stay connected somehow.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
I think that was a good point that she made about staying connected in general.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I have another one. This one is by Malia Ojo. I think that's how I can't pronounce last names today. Okay. Uh, so she said she usually lights a candle and vibes with her neon lights alone, playing her favorite songs and writes in her journal
Mhm.
about how she feels or colors or something to calm her thoughts. She also talked about staying off social media and then just watching things she likes to watch. Like, for example, she says she likes to watch Perks of Being a Wallflower, which makes her feel things. Um, and she says that if she has to, she cries.
Mhm.
And she says that's a good stress reliever. And I agree. Like, I think in general, you gotta feel the emotions you're feeling. I know a lot of people want to like feel um like they got it together even when they don't have it together, and it's okay to admit to yourself I don't have it together. I need a moment and like maybe break down, maybe talk to a friend like when they're feeling really sad or devastated. um
Mhm.
I also like to watch stuff like TV shows or
Mhm.
movies when I'm feeling sad or just in need of self-care.
Mhm.
um for me, my go-to shows or movies is probably like for shows it would be like comedies. So like it'll be like Friends, The Office, Parks and Recreation, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Movies, I think I always watch rom-coms. I don't know why. I'm a rom-com person like when I'm sad. So I'll watch like 13 Going on 30 or like other rom-coms. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I think I mean I'm not like a big like TV show person,
Yeah.
but I think like definitely like I like horror movies, so I feel like that's something
I
that
like
I
those too, yeah.
like to watch a lot. But yeah, definitely like watching shows or like movies. I think that's good because it's kind of like a little like escape from reality. Like you're kind of like
Yes.
you're kind of like putting yourself in another world, and like you're like watching that. I don't know. It's kind of it's yeah, it's just kind of like an escape. It makes you forget about everything else, even if it's just for a little bit.
Yeah. So those are the tips that they gave me. If you guys want to follow that, then go for it. Um, I think I have one more question for you. It's just about how has things been different this time around in terms of school because of remote learning and because of the pandemic? How much of that has been different in a good way and a bad way?
I would say in a good way, it's kind of I feel like or I'll start with bad then good. Bad, I think
Yeah,
like happier.
yeah,
I think like it's kind of hard to like stay on track because like I think a lot of people feel this way. Like if school feels like honestly, it feels like optional. Like right
yeah,
now, it doesn't feel like, um, like we actually need to do stuff. Like I've definitely missed a few. Like I missed a quiz yesterday, like in like a few deadlines, and it's like oh, but it's like I'm not even like that like a phase, but I'm just like oh well, because it's just like it's weird like it being virtual. And like if you have asynchronous classes, like I have all asynchronous classes, it's kind of hard to like maintain a schedule sometimes for some people. So it's just like kind of rough to like stay motivated. Um, but yeah, that's I think that's been like a really big struggle with remote learning. But I think a good thing is, at least for me, I'm like the person that really likes to be involved in a lot of stuff, like outside of just like academics, like with clubs or like leadership roles and stuff. Like I like to do that stuff. And I think since it was, or since it's been remote learning, it's like easier to be able to take on more responsibility since it's just on Zoom. Like I can have like 5 minutes in between and hop on another Zoom call instead of like having to like schedule like oh I need to like go all the way to this building, it's going to take me like 20 minutes to get there. Like I think that's been good for me. Like I was able to participate in like as an orientation leader, and like I have a job like working with the school virtually right now, and I think I don't think I would be able to take on like so much if it were in person. So I think like it being virtually has helped me like take on more opportunities because I'm able to balance it easier virtually. So that's good.
yeah. That's good. I think like a lot of people had the feeling of drawbacks from it because, not a lot of people are used to online learning or like doing things on the computer. It's people are used to the campus feeling, the college vibe. Um, yeah, I have similar feelings about it too. But yeah, Um, so before we go, I just wanted to share our resource of the episode. Where this time it's going to be you saying your resource, which is basically if you think you have any resources for mental health at your school, and I'll say mine as well. I don't know if you want to start or I can start.
Um, if you want, you can go.
Yeah. Okay. So this semester I attend Moore Park, but then the next semester I'm going to Pierce again, Pierce College. Both campuses they offer mental health resources such as counseling, the health center, which is very important, especially during these critical times. Of course, you can't go to it right now because both of the campuses are closed, but they're offering it online. So I'll probably attach like a link to it if you attend any of those schools. But I strongly suggest that if you attend a different school and you are struggling like with your mental health or anything regarding that, go to your school website and check out mental health resources or health resources. They'll probably have it online, you know. That's my resource for this.
Yeah. Mine is pretty similar. Like I think, um, like the biggest resources that I use are the ones from my school. There's like a group therapy, individual therapy. There's even like couples therapy. There's like emotional well-being workshops, stuff like that. So I would definitely say if you're in school, definitely look up like your school's like health center website. Just put in like your school's name and put like mental health resources. There will be a lot. And I think if you're not in school, like if you're not in college, I'm pretty sure like most schools like are also like recording workshops and they can post them. You can always just look up like a school's name and look up workshops and I'm sure they'll pop up or like on YouTube. It doesn't even have to be like a school. Just look up like, oh, like mental health workshop and I'm sure there'll be a lot. There's a lot of like um, free resources right now, especially because of the pandemic. So I would definitely look into those.
Yeah. So thank you, Jackie, for doing this. I had a great conversation with you, liked what you were saying. Um, so thank you again.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yay. I had a lot of fun. I think this was a really good conversation. So thank you for reaching out about this.
Of course, of course. So that's gonna be it for today, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and yeah, and take care, Jackie.
Yeah, you too.